Today I'm planting garlic and shallots in our vegetable garden. Garlic is an ancient crop cultivated all over the world, and I simply could not imagine my kitchen without its pungent aroma. Now, if you're used to purchasing garlic in the grocery store, you typically only see one or two different varieties, but there are many different cultivars available. Fact sheet 6032, vegetable varieties for home gardening in Oklahoma, lists a number of different cultivars you can try. I also recommend visiting your local farmer's market to find out what cultivars grow well in your particular corner of the state. Well, our raised beds are ideal for growing garlic. Garlic does not do very well in very heavy soils. It tends to cause misshapen bulbs, but our raised beds are nice and light. If you do have heavy soils, amend them with generous amounts of organic matter. The raised bed also has good drainage, which helps avoid problems with rotting and disease. So when we plant garlic, we're not planting from seeds, we're going to be planting cloves of garlic. Garlic comes in a bulb, which is made up of a number of individual cloves. And if you receive your garlic as a whole head, you want to go ahead and break those cloves apart, and we're going to be setting those into the ground individually. Now, garlic has an up and a down. As we plant it, we want to set the side that has the root scar, which is the flattened tip, down, and we want the pointed end to be pointed up. Now, garlic is set fairly deep in the ground. I'm spacing my cloves 4 inches apart, but we want to set them so that 2 inches of soil sit on top of the clove. So I'm using a dibble tool. You can also dig trenches, but this allows me to get a nice deep hole, and then I'm going to set my garlic in it. As I'm setting the garlic in, I want to be certain that I maintain that proper orientation with the pointed end up. So take your time as you plant your garlic and make sure that it gets in properly. I'm also planting onions. I've already planted onions in this bed, and you can see they've started to come up. I started these from seed this year. You could plant onions from seeds or from individual sets. We decided to experiment with seeding our onions. I'm also planting shallots today, and shallots are cultivated much the same way that garlic is. Shallots come in a bulb, which again we want to break off into individual pieces. The individual parts are a little bit larger than our garlic clove, but they still have a root scar at the bottom and a pointed end, which needs to be facing up as we set it in the ground. Now, our shallots, as they grow, each individual set will produce a large cluster of bulbs around it, and they need a little bit more space than our garlic. So we want to set them about 8 inches apart, but they're not planted quite as deep as our garlic. When you set your shallots in the ground, you want to just barely cover it so that the tip of the shallot is just below the soil surface. Again, we're going to set the next one 8 inches from the first and continue down the row. Since I'm planting intensive beds, my rows are only going to be 8 inches apart. So we're going to have 8-inch spacing between each bulb. In the next row, I'll stagger it and make a little triangle so that I could fill the bed. You can learn more about fall gardening from OSU Fact Sheet HLA 6009.